This is the Bujati Bosch. Today I am going to demonstrate the architecture and methodologies that we use to build a prototype data warehouse for a global telecom company which has 30 subsidiary companies across the globe. The company wants to evaluate the performance of all the 30 operators across the regions. The first and the foremost thing we did was to collect the different source data. So these are the different source data. This is the company OLTP structured data where we have the order details, the customer complaint, the company details, the telecom CDR data, and the CRM management data. The next source of data is the Rate My ISP ratings, where the customers give ratings for 30 operators on a scale of 1 to 5. The next source of data is the Twitter data, where we have analyzed the sentiment of the customers for all those 30 operators. So this is the output of the Twitter data, which we have counted the negative sentiment, the positive, and this Twitter score. For the unstructured web page data, we have run the code in R. This is the ISP rating code, and if we run this code, we will get this output for all these 30 operators, where we have counted the poor, the good, and the top review counts. Next, we use the SSIS ETL tool to populate the dimensions and the fact table. Firstly, we have truncated the staging table. Then we have captured all the different sources of data, and we have populated into all these dimension tables, and finally populated into the fact table. Now if we run this code, first all the data were captured from the different sources and it populated on all the dimension tables. Once all the dimension tables are populated, we populated the fact table. Now if I go to the sales review fact table, we can see the fact table is populated with all the dimension keys and all the measurable attributes like monthly usage, ARPU, the Twitter count. Now if we go to the database diagram, we can see we have followed the Kimball methodology, where we have the star schema. We have 7 dimensions and 1 fact table. The fact table are interlinked with the dimensions by surrogate key, and the fact tables have all the measurable attributes like Twitter, ISP count, monthly measures, the number of complaints. So once the data has been loaded in the data warehouse, we used SSAS to generate the analytics report. So we have first built a cube, then we have deployed the cube and processed the cube. Once the cube is processed, we have generated all the details according to the business need. Then we have generated the pivot table in Excel, where we have the business case studies where the business want from this cube. The first business case study is the business wants to evaluate which product of which operators do customers tend to buy in the last quarter. This is one of the case study, and the other case study, the business want to know what is the average revenue and monthly users per product per region in the last month. So we have analyzed these two case studies which were foremost important to the business. The business also wants to know the positive and the negative sentiment of the people based on the Twitter and the ISP rating count. So once we have evaluated all these case studies, what we find surprising is that the KBO and magnet for 3G has high customer complaints, but surprisingly the customers tend to buy these two products. Same for Meteor 2G has the maximum customer complaint, where still we find from our first case study that customers tend to buy this Meteor, maybe because of the brand of these companies. So thus we have been able to convince the management that we have got all the necessary outcomes we need from the data warehouse, and we can build the real data warehouse model. Thank you. Bye.